Welcome to the Quality of Love podcast. I'm your host, Tyrone Dixon, nationally certified life and relationship coach, husband, father to two beautiful princesses, and CEO and founder of a Rose to Concrete Consulting. Thank you guys for taking the time out to listen in with us tonight. We really appreciate it. Tonight, we got another very, very special episode. I have another very, very special guest. Probably one of the most creative people I've ever met in my life. And I'm not just blowing smoke because I got the great fortune to spend 10 weeks in our, so I always talk about our Black Media Mogul Maker course. So our audience is very familiar with it, but literally probably one of the most creative people I've ever met in my life. I'm going to let her break down her creativity shortly. But I have here joining me this evening, Queena. Queena, say hello to the people.
How's it going?
The people are loving it. So one of the things that I found very, very interesting to begin with, Queena, actually, before we even get into that, forget that. You got that Cuse jersey on, repping Carmelo Anthony right now in the Cuse on Beach Street, right down the street from Marshall Street. Let the people see the jersey.
Yes, that's our number 15.
Yes. Shout out to Melo, man. He brought us great memories. Shout out to Melo and shout out to you, Queena, for wearing that jersey. When I seen it, I'm like, oh, you got the Melo from Marshall Street.
Hey, once NCAA champions, forever NCAA champions.
You already know 2003 was a big year. Nice. So sorry to throw that on y'all, but y'all know when we were up in the Q's how much we love our city. So without further ado, Queena, can you say hello to the audience and elaborate on who you are and a little bit about your background before we get into the good stuff?
Hey, Quality of Love team. I'm Queena. I also go by Mwelwa Bwalya. I'm an artist who has really grown right out of here in Syracuse, New York. I have always had a passion for music and the arts. So for me, it's always been, my compass has always been heading this direction. So to be able to create something and be embraced, like this is what I've always manifested. So I'm super, super excited to be able to be here with your awesome audience. And Tyrone, thank you so much for including me in this amazing journey that you created for yourself. Like big shout out to you.
Thank you. Listen, we're growing together. You know, we gotta look out for each other around here. You know how that goes.
Absolutely.
Now the people are gonna want to know a lot about your music, your process, and we're going to get into that. I promise. But before we do, you have this amazing machine thingy that I don't even know what it's called. But listen, you have to tell the people what it is. You don't have to tell them how much you paid for it because you know. We ball on a budget around here, but can you tell us what that is? Because I think that's probably the coolest device I've ever seen in my life. And she's showing it now. So for the audience that can't see, catch us on YouTube.
Hey, the Spire is super excited. This is my all-in-one device. I use the Spire as my recording studio. It's also my production studio. I think it's really allowed me to be able to take an idea and be able to level up and grow on it. Mm-hmm. With each track, I'm able to do adjustments, whether it's the sound quality, maybe tweaking it, but it really, it's really elevated my game because it's allowed me to take full control of the production aspect and then also the artistic voice. I think I tried different avenues of trying to make my music. And you find that production takes a lot of time. And it's also about finding the right moment and making that magic happen. So not forcing it for me has been like the best thing because Aspire is something I use at home in my home office on the go. So it's I recommend everyone, if you haven't checked it out yet, if you want to know more, hit me up. Like we can definitely talk more about it. But the Spire 2.0.
Spire 2.0, and then again, it's I can't emphasize this enough. It's the coolest device I've ever seen in my entire life, and the Queena is being relatively modest about it. Literally, this little thing is a whole factory within itself, a music industry powerhouse / factory. She can record, she can produce, she can edit. It also operates as a microphone, right? If I'm not mistaken. Like,
Yep,
so you
it's
don't
a
even need,
standalone microphone.
yeah, you don't even need any additional like equipment or anything like that.
And in addition to that, I think the biggest thing for musicians is it's about the XLR connection in the back. So to be able to like take, like a microphone jack and be able to input it into the actual device. I can collaborate with guitar players. I could collaborate with, musicians, people who are doing electronic music. It's just the projects are endless. Like the opportunity just will never stop with this.
So what you're saying is it's an extremely convenient device to have for anybody who takes music really serious.
Absolutely. I definitely recommend it for anyone who's interested in starting their craft, even in podcasting, just to be able to hear your voice in the instant, play it back, and make those changes, those edits without going into a whole different program and then loading it up and letting the beat come in.
You're speaking to my soul right now, Queena. You're speaking to my soul, because boy, that stuff is time consuming. So yeah, she balling on us a little bit, but she told you that she could give you the hookup on it. So now I think that it's also interesting, the story behind that. You shared it in class, but I thought it was so cool that now originally you heard about the Spire from 2 Chainz.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Wow, you have such a great memory.
Listen, this is what I do, girl.
You really do. We were my fiance and I were watching the most expensivest things on that show. And in the middle of everything, he was like, Mwelwa, you gotta come check this out. And we checked it out. At the time, it was the first generation. And we kind of looked at the cost of it. And we kind of were like, I don't know, is this worth it? I don't know, like, should we do it? And then ultimately, after some hemming and hawing, but also just really, really planning for it, I decided to wait for the second generation and invest in that. And honestly, you can find information and you can find, opportunities in the strangest places.
Yes, right. I'll be telling people, like, my spirit be speaking to me sometimes. Like, I'll be randomly walking or watching TV or something, and something will click, and I'll be like, oh shoot, let me just hop on that real quick. The spirit was speaking to you on that one. Yes. See, and shout out to your fiance on that. Shout out to him, because he's clutch for that one.
He's amazing.
Yes. So you know how we like to give love to our partners on this show. So shout out to your fiance.
Yes.
Now, the people want to know about Queena, the journey, the process, the music. Tell us about like the process, because you did everything yourself essentially, right? So tell us about the process of creating music, what it takes, and most importantly, what makes you motivated to continue to move forward in your element.
I think that's a great question. My journey, I'm an immigrant who came to the US in 1996, 25 years in America. And when we first came, it was about finding the opportunity to grow and to elevate, and then figuring out like, how am I going to grow as an artist, and like, what am I going to do to continue to flourish? And honestly, really figuring out that if you make goals and then you work to accomplish them, you will ultimately get to your destination. But it's like not losing focus, because everyone has downfalls, and learning to use what feels like, sometimes it might feel like it's devastating or like a setback, but those setbacks are really setting you up for your your comeback. You know,
Yeah.
minor setback for a major comeback.
Oh, you dropping gems? I wasn't even expecting that today. Look at this, man. I wasn't even expecting that. Nice.
Yeah.
So what I hear you saying is there's an element of consistency in there, right?
Yeah.
And then there's also something that I heard for the very first time in our Black Media Mogul Maker class that I just like, it spoke to my spirit, and that's trusting your creativity, trusting in your kind of own process and your own creativity. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
You know, I'm not a traditional artist, so I love to sing and I love to rap, and I've had to find a balance between my voices because I've learned that I've got this diva in me that wants to sing, and you know, she wants to do ballads, but then there's this rapper within me that's like really a poet, and my poetry is a reflection of my pain and my resilience. So to be able to find a way that's like creative, but yet like sultry or engaging, I think for me, like that's what I try to find a combination of being genuine and real. I think the one thing that people will hear in my music is that it's a reflection of my feelings. So when I'm sad, you can definitely feel that, like that sorrow and that pain. And I'm comfortable in that space. Like I own it. I live there, but I don't live there all the time, you know, because I've got different rooms in my quote, you know, so to speak, in my house of who I am. You know, I see myself as a temple, as a dwelling. And in my dwelling, I have different rooms, and I've got different qualities that I'm willing to explore.
Different skill sets you can tap into when you need them.
Yeah,
that's awesome. I like to say that I have multiple personalities. I pretty much whittled them down to two. There's like this me who you typically see, ultra professional, just gonna give it to you the nice way, and then it's like the cross me version of myself, where it's just like once I am not in my logical brain, I'm very unapologetic. So I try very hard not to get there, but when I do, it's usually like, whoa, where'd this person come from? But I've found a balance.
Well, we can't be afraid of our egos, but we can't let our egos overshadow our, you know, our who we are.
Yes. Ooh. Why you ain't tell me beforehand you was gonna come drop gems on me like this? You know I'll be getting excited from them gems.
Hey, jewelers in the jewelry store. We just making gems. You the jeweler.
Nice. Now talk to me a little bit about being what I call a total creator. So that means somebody from the inception of the song. So when you first have the idea that I want to do this song, or that I want to write these lyrics down or write this ballad, all the way till like you feel like this is a finished product. Like how does that even happen? Because oh my goodness, just saying it is like, what?
I've learned patience. I've learned patience. I improvise. I overcome, and then I achieve, you know?
Yes.
And it's kind of like, I'm one of those people, my journal or my notebook has got like circles, graphs, bubbles, a little essay part. So it's not just linear. I allow my mind to kind of to flow into a different position. And I think I've really evolved and I've grown a lot in these last 2 years as an artist, because I made the conscious decision to transition from being idle. You know, I felt like I was present, but I was dormant.
Okay.
And to be awakened, I feel like has really it's just allowed me to find my purpose and my passion, and I'm driven by that, you know. And it's like every single day I'm fighting for that, like because it's my source of living, it's my source of not just surviving but thriving.
Whoa. See, I told y'all, one of the dopest individuals I've ever met in my entire life. Do y'all hear what she's saying? I'm about to go back to this because you dropped a gem on us and I don't even think you heard it, or you probably did, but I had to write it down. We said about your process, one thing that you start off with is patience.
Yeah.
Then you hop to improvisation, and then you succeed. You need to put that on a t-shirt or something, man. I feel like that's marketable. That's marketable, Queena. Get some, we gotta get the money,
Hey, get that merch up.
Get the money. That's so dope. No, I laugh and I joke, and this is just who I am, just my personality. But seriously, like, I think that you are one of the most creative people I've ever met in my entire life, and I appreciate you sharing a little bit of your creativity and your creative process with us, for sure.
Thank you. It's really it's such a great honor, and to be able to be around peers like you, it's really motivation, and it's inspiring. It's literally the fuel that that's gonna take me to the next place that I'm trying to go.
Yes.
And you're riding shotgun.
Ooh. Here we go. That's what I was waiting to hear. Now you have 2 projects that you've released, like in 2021, right? Both were in 2021.
Yes.
Tell us first about Queen of Magic and kind of what that entails, and then I want to hear about that second album that you dropped on us right before Christmas.
So Queen of Magic was my first album. So I had like this. I was having this battle of how do I share a full version of myself without feeling like I'm silencing one part because I want to fit into like a box or a mold.
Mm-hmm.
And I had made so much music that it came to the point where I was like, all right, we gotta cut down and get to the good stuff. Like, people aren't gonna want to hear 50 tracks. Not quite yet.
Yeah. It's just, what tracks be like 10 albums be like 10 tracks nowadays, man.
Right? But some of them be like 33 tracks, and you're like, oh man.
Yeah. Just like, ooh, we got 20 more to go.
That's a whole book. So, kind of like I shared with you earlier about finding that balance. I realized that like Royal Queena was my more softer, more vulnerable side of me.
Mm-hmm.
So I showcased songs that were very personal, mm-hmm. and were very, I think they made me vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And then my alter ego was like top shelf. And
that's the second one you dropped on us in 2021, right?
That was the second album.
Top shelf.
And that album, it was more like, it was my rap debut. I feel like I've been always kind of like put in a box where people are like, you have to decide if you're going to be a singer or you're going to be a rapper. And I'm like, I'm both,
Yeah.
But I wanted to be able to let the people in easy. So I thought it was important to divide those 2 projects. And then I think what I hope will happen is, as people come to know me, mm-hmm. and come to learn about my journey, they'll understand why the projects were released the way they were, and in the context that they were.
Well, I'm sure you'll have plenty of opportunities to tell people about that for sure. Sure. Question. Now, yes. I know I didn't privy you to this, but you have to give us one song, your favorite song from the Queen of Magic album, and then what was your favorite song from Top Shelf, so that when the audience hears it and listen to it, they're like, oh, okay, this is what she was talking about.
Oh, okay.
I guess I'll make it hard on you. Favorite song from both?
My favorite song from the Queen album is Royal Love.
Royal Love.
Yep, okay. And that's the first song on the album. It was me making that statement of like, give me that royal love, like treat me like a queen, mm-hmm. and know that like I'm gonna give you all I have to give, and all I can ask in return is that you reciprocate, and you reciprocate in kindness, you know, and sincerity.
Yes.
So, like, to me, that's like, when I think of royalty, I think royalty is holding yourself to a higher standard, and not because you're better than anyone, but because you desire to do better for the greater good.
So it's raising your own expectations in order to raise everyone else's expectations.
Right, holding yourself at a high regard, so that you can also. I've always said, like, I want to be the joy that I seek. I want to be the love that I seek. I want to be the hope that I seek. And I believe that if I start with myself, then it's so easy for it to be able to be reciprocated on the other end.
That's awesome. Dope. All right. What about Top Shelf? Because you said you came hard on Top Shelf now. What we got to listen to on Top Shelf now?
Top Shelf, Welcome to the Future.
Welcome to the Future.
Yeah, I have a track on there. It's called Welcome to the Future. And it was really, it's set up as me having a conversation with my older brother, and he is, he's passed on. So he's in the clouds, and as we're having this dialogue, he's finally got to heaven and he's flying. And now he's telling me that he's waiting for me, and whenever I'm ready, I can go fly in the sky with him as well. And it's him welcoming me to the future. So
that's beautiful. What? And you came up with that concept by yourself?
Yeah.
That is dope. Number one. And I had to move around in my seat because I'm like, man, I don't even need to tell the audience anymore how dope you are and how just fantastic you are in terms of being the next great entertainer, for sure.
I'm just a free thinker, and I honestly, I just want to, I want to keep inspiring, just the same way that I've been inspired by, like, the great people. You know, I was thinking about, like, Maya Angelou. Just such an inspiration with her poetry and her storytelling, her narrative telling. And in a time when people were silenced and didn't have what we have here, this outlet to be able to share. So, like, I'm thankful to those people that paved this path for us. So.
But I couldn't agree with you more, man. And just to think of all of the sacrifices they made and all of the courage that it took to make those sacrifices during that time, because now you see a lot of people have platforms, a lot of people have opportunities to share their opinion or what they feel. Back then, you could literally be killed for that, right? Or kidnapped or taken advantage of. So that's dope. All right. So is there anything else you want to share with our audience? Because I know we have a part 2 of this interview set up down the line, because you think you about to get away from me. You're not. You stuck. But is there anything that you want to tell the audience right now, Queena, about what you have going on, where they can find you? I know you'll probably share a bio, but tell the people about where can they find you? Where they want to be in the loop with Queena. Where can they find you?
Well, you know, some big things coming up in the coming weeks. Some things I can't quite share yet, but just know you'll be able to see me a lot more in the community and working with individuals that are, truly doing big things here in Syracuse. And I couldn't be more honored to be accepted into that community. And when you come to part 2, you'll find out what community that is. But in addition to that, the next project I've got going on is I'm already working on my next project. So people will be able to find me on my Instagram and also on my Facebook page, The Royal Queena. And also my website, theroyalqueena.com.
Theroyalqueena.com. And again, I'll make sure that she shares some information with me so that I'm able to share it with you as an audience. And y'all better go follow her before she blow up, because I told y'all that she was going to blow up. So just know that that's how this works.
Same number, same hood. Yeah, same.
No, she literally is serious, because she still lives in the same general neighborhood that she's been in.
I love Syracuse. Like, the Salt City, you know, I would say Syracuse is a sanctuary city. And it's a sanctuary city because it's You know, it's opening doors to people that otherwise would have maybe not been fortunate enough to have the opportunities that are available here.
I agree. We do live in an extremely blessed city and an extremely blessed time. And you know you're coming back on. So I don't want to hear any of that political and, oh, well, you know, Tyrone, you got to make time, fit you in my schedule and all of that. You don't no more of that.
Tyrone, we're in that group chat. You can't.
Oh,
Can't
yeah. You definitely, listen, you stuck, girl. You stuck for
Black
life.
media mogul for life.
Definitely. All right. Dope. Then when we get you back on, we'll make sure that we give everybody the layout of where you'll be when you'll be there, so they can make sure they can start showing up. Hopefully the pandemic cools down a little bit, but they can start showing up and seeing you in person. That's so dope. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming on. I can't emphasize it enough. Thank you so much. I know it was a lot going on before we got on, but you did a phenomenal job, and I thank you. I appreciate you sharing your spirit, your creativity, and you know, I think you're super dope, man. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much, Tyrone, and I look forward to seeing you in the future. And you don't forget me when Quality of Love blows up and you on all the channels and all the networks.
Oh, whoa, man, you give me all of this praise. Woo. All right, we connected at the hip from now on.
Yeah, you got it.
All right.
Well, thank you so much.
No problem at all. Audience, you know what that means. We hit the end of our show. Don't forget those 5 elements of a lasting relationship. You must have trust. You must have communication, which is dialogue back and forth between you and your partner. You must know your partner's love and apology languages so you can know how to love on them and also know how to say sorry. Be able to shift with the dynamics in the relationships. There are changing dynamics in every relationship. Having the ability to shift with them makes you more successful in the long term. And then finally, unconditional acceptance. That's all we have for you all tonight. Remember, the quality of love and relationship you have in your life really does determine the quality of your life. Peace and love.